Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Dissident Chronicles. I'm James Dakota, your host, and we'll be talking about some things today like Steve Bannon and the insurrection, Joe Manchin in his gangster suits, yee, what that is yee, and the Biden shit show tonight. So, here we go. We'll start talking about the Bannon insurrection. Alright, here we go. I'm going to do a little video here for you. Alright. Talking about Steve Bannon and his antics lately and things holding up Congress and bullshit like that in that committee. Here, let's take a little listen.
New this morning, former President Trump's legal team now calling for an injunction and a hearing within 21 days. It's part of a lawsuit to stop the release of documents related to his presidency and, of course, the attack on the Capitol on January 6th.
Yeah, the move, just the latest in a series, a last-ditch effort to block the National Archives from giving those records to the committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. If a federal judge does not intervene, the archives will turn over those documents by November 12th. All of this comes as the January 6th committee has now unanimously voted to hold Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress for defying his subpoena. The full House will vote on those charges tomorrow. We're just getting new details that the House GOP leadership is recommending its members vote no.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who of course is on the committee, says Bannon and former President Trump's citing of executive privilege suggests that they were both personally involved in the planning and execution of the insurrection, and says the committee will, quote, get to the bottom of that. Here to discuss is Joshua Green, the author of Devil's Bargain, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, and the Nationalist Uprising. He's also a national correspondent for Bloomberg Businessweek. Good to have you with us this morning. Those comments from Liz Cheney were direct, to put it mildly, that assessment, and those are not words that one would say lightly. There's something behind that, I would imagine. Perhaps, I don't know if it's a motivation, but what do you think Steve Bannon's taking from that based on your experience?
I mean, based on discussions I've had with him over the last couple of months, I don't think Steve Bannon is particularly bothered by those comments from Liz Cheney or anybody in the committee. He doesn't recognize its validity. He doesn't feel as though he's in a situation to be pressured by them. You know, unlike a typical ex-White House official, Bannon doesn't have some high-profile corporate job. He doesn't serve on boards of directors, so he doesn't have to worry about a stain on his reputation. He sees this as part of a political fight and believes that the contempt charge is only going to enhance his standing in the eyes of Donald Trump and Trump supporters, and that's what Bannon is most interested in doing.
Well, he could think that way just fine, and we saw, by the way, he didn't seem to have much respect for the electoral system either, based on his statements. You know, looking at what Cheney said, we should note this doesn't come from nowhere. I want to replay for our audience what Steve Bannon said on January 5th, one day before the insurrection. I want to get your sense, Joshua, how this fits in. Have a listen.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Just understand this. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen, okay? It's going to be quite extraordinarily different. And all I can say is strap in. The War Room, a posse. You have made this happen, and tomorrow it's game day. So strap in.
All hell's going to break loose, you said. Based on your interactions with Bannon and what you know about him, do you believe there's evidence that he knew about plans for January 6th or perhaps participated in some way?
Well, I think that's typical Bannon hyperbole, but I do think he participated in the sense that, as he said, his podcast listeners, his posse, those are the types of people, the actual people that showed up on January 6th. Now, whether or not Bannon knew that they were going to storm the Capitol and create the insurrection, the violence that we saw on January 6th, I don't know. But certainly he was doing everything within his power to foment a kind of uprising that he hoped would make Biden appear to be an illegitimate president and somehow find a way to get Trump back in power.
All right, folks. I don't know about you, but I believe there was a serious insurrection. You're not going to get me to not believe that. I woke up on my birthday thinking, God damn, Jim, there's going to be an insurrection today. Your birthday is going to be famous. At least I'm famous for something. Let's see how the vote turned out from... They voted today. I want to talk about that too, but, you know, I have some opinion about the insurrections myself. I think everyone who participated in that insurrection, and it was an insurrection, a very poor one, a redneck one, everybody that participated that day is culpable for the deaths that happened that day, whether they be civilian or police. They are culpable and all should be charged with manslaughter. That's what I think. It's just crazy. You just can't go around pushing cops around and killing people and killing civilians, running around and going into the Capitol. There's 320 million people, or 30 million people. There was, 1,500 of you? I don't know. It was a pretty poor attempt of Trump to try to set it up and not have some security there. If he would have just conceded. No, if he would have just believed in the virus, he'd still be our president. Well, let's look something else up about Steve Bannon and see how that vote went today. I think Steve Bannon's kind of a entertaining guy. He's much more handsome than the Orange Man. So I'm imagining he's got a woman or two. And I want to see how. All right. We're going to talk about taking a look here at another video. Now, me, myself, I think, was the vote yesterday or was the vote today? And I just saw things. We'll take a look here.
Steve Bannon, the former White House aide to President Trump, is one step closer to being in contempt of Congress. He's refusing to work with the committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. The committee views his testimony as, quote, critical, arguing statements he made on January 5th suggest foreknowledge about the violence that happened the next day. Bannon has yet to turn over documents or show up for a deposition. Tomorrow, the full House will vote on whether to send the resolution to the Justice Department, which could then decide to pursue criminal charges against Bannon.
Okay, there we go.
Well, good.
All right. Well, we see how that went. Let's move on, folks. Enough about Steve Bannon and his antics and his little buddy party with the Orange Man. What's up with Joe Manchin thinking he's the most powerful Democrat in the country? Joe Manchin is from the poorest state in the country. Well, yeah, West Virginia is pretty damn poor. And he's the one that's controlling things in the Senate. That's just a little ridiculous. And what's up with those gangster suits he's always wearing? He's always on CNN with that Chris Cuomo, always talking about a bunch of bullshit, how he's going to block things, how he's going to do this, how he's going to do that. Well, hopefully the $1.7 trillion package goes through, but they got a lot of shit in this package, and I'm going to complain right now big time. What the hell is Joe Biden and Congress and everybody in Washington doing for senior citizens on Social Security? How about that, Joe Manchin? Why don't you put in that 30% increased bill? Let's get that going too, also with this 1.7 trillion package that didn't include any food stamps for senior citizens, because food stamps, you can't get them if you're a senior citizen. You make $1,300. No, you can't get food stamps. I'm sure you could if you had a couple kids, but just think you're not going to have a couple kids when you're 70 years old, you know, that you have to feed. If you do, he must be some dude, and that's pretty crazy. But yeah, he's always on Chris Cuomo's show and always talking on there like he's the most powerful Democrat, and you know, that's just crazy. It's just crazy, you know, really crazy. I think Joe Biden should get his shit together and do something for the senior citizens. He's not going to get reelected by the baby boomers, who are the biggest voting class of people. He will not get reelected if he doesn't do something to increase Social Security. It's not in line with inflation. Jobs were $10 an hour a year ago. That same job is $20 an hour now. Meat was $3.50 a pound for a hamburger. Now it's up to almost like $7. I just bought 2 New York strips the other day at Walmart, and I usually don't buy meat at Walmart because I think their meat sucks, but I was just in there hanging out and thought I'd try it out, and well, I'm going to try those tonight, but it was like $25 for 2 steaks. You know, that's probably cheap in some places in the country, but it's not cheap here. When I was buying 6 months ago, I was buying T-bones from $7.99 to $11.99 a pound. I was also buying New York strips at the same price. They were going well. Milk's gone up. Pop's gone up by $1 a case. Gas has gone up. Your electric bill is going to go up. Your gas bill is going to go up. They voted here in my area. The gas company did raise prices, you know. This is not working out for the poorest class of people. The working poor have available to them food stamps. They have available to them welfare. Old people have nothing. When are you going to take it? Disabled people have nothing, who only have one pension. What are we going to do to help these people? Because they're the ones. They're your grandparents. They're your cousins. They're your uncle. You know, you want your mom and dad, you know, work all their lives, and I'm sorry, you know, they didn't get a job that had a pension with it, but they worked hard all their lives and to get Social Security, and then everybody doubles pay for 18-year-olds who can't even count change back to you. They can't even count change back to you. Oh, God, that's so ridiculous. And we're going to give them $20 an hour. The average person on Social Security makes $7.26 an hour. There's something wrong here, America. Let's get our act together. Let's take care of our old people. People in Europe, people over in Asia, they revere their elderly. They make sure they don't go broke. They take care of them. They actually they revere them. We don't treat our old people like our higher generation people, you know, our senior citizens, like we should. They're getting shafted all the time. Not everybody who works all their life has a second retirement check. Not too many people are that lucky, especially with jobs being, well, jobs have changed. Maybe you can get, 40 hours a week in a pension nowadays with this $20 an hour bullshit to work at McDonald's. I remember my first job was like $3 and some cents an hour. You know, these people are making more money than when I got out of the military. Kids, 18-year-olds. Hey, I'm happy things have gone up for people. I'm happy. You know, your pay has doubled, but so has your expenses. Your expenses have doubled. So, what are we going to do about that, Joe Biden? What are you going to do about this inflation? Well, what's going to happen is what we talked about in yesterday's podcast about Lebanon and Venezuela. Our economy could go to shit. It really could. All this money we got in the different COVID packages, you know, you got to pay that money back. And people aren't understanding that. Where's all this money coming from? Where's this 3.5 or 1.7 trillion dollars coming from? I'd like to know. I really would. But let's get off that subject. Let's move to something else pissing me off. Okay. We're going to look up something here in a second. I think this is pretty comical. What's up with old Yee? I mean, come on. You're with your orange man. You actually ran for president. You actually ran for president, and now you are named Wee. You legally changed your name the other day in court. Legally changed your name to Yee. I don't understand that. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. I don't know, but I'd like to find out a little more information about it. How about you? What the heck's going on here? I want to get to this Yee stuff, but no, we'll just go on again. Well, we'll talk about the Biden shit show tonight. It's going to be pretty crazy. He's going to be talking up there, and he's going to be saying, folks, let me tell you. Folks, let me tell you. Well, when my dad did, well, and my, you know, he's always got to refer to my, you know, where's we? Well, what happened to we and all this my shit? You know? Oh, boy. This is not working out here too well. But yeah, he wants all this money. He thinks he's FDR. And this is the New Deal. Come on, man. You're the only one that you had to pick to run, and you beat Trump. Now, when I went to bed that night, I knew when I woke up in the morning, Donald Trump would be the winner. When I woke up in the morning, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It was a big shock to me. A big shock. I bet it was a big shock to everyone. But I don't think there was nothing nefarious in the actual election. All right. Well, we're going to look at this Kanye and see what's going on here. All right. Let's see.
Well, the artist formerly known as Kanye West has a new name and a new look. It is now official. The 44-year-old will now go by Ye. Entertainment journalist Allie Lynn joins us now with the latest on this. Allie, good morning to you. So a judge actually signed off on this.
Good morning. Now, is your name still Sharon?
It sure is. I'm going to keep it that way, too.
Great. So, yes, the judge signed off on yesterday out there in California for the rapper to change his name. He put a petition in August, and it just kind of got approved on yesterday. And so we know that now his name is no more Kanye Omari West. It's now just Ye.
How did he come up with this new name?
So, in 2018, he released his album entitled Ye, and he said that he was going to refer to himself in that name going forward. Well, then he also said that he was like, you know what? I don't think I want to change my name to Christian Genius Billionaire Kanye West. And I guess he, had to pray about that, took some time to himself and decided that, that was probably a little bit too long. And so he went back to the original thought of Ye. But, Sharon, this isn't the only one of the several big shifts in his life. He just changed his name, of course, but his wife, Kim Kardashian West, filed for divorce back there in February, who they share 4 children with, of course. She's reportedly been living apart some time from him, but she just won the $60 million Hidden Hills mansion that's 5,000 square feet in the divorce. So sis came up for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. So he has a new name, and he also has a new look, too. He got a new haircut.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. It's just a lot of newness, It's 2021. I'm like, do you? Whatever makes you happy. But, Ye has always been a character.
Yeah, he really has. Well, best of luck with that new name and the new look. Allie, thank you.
All right, I promise you I'm Allie. I promise.
just Allie. Just stay with that, please. Miss Allie Lynn. I'll stick with Sharon Lawson.
Okay. That was kind of funny. A judge actually signed off on that bullshit. God, things you can do when you are a billionaire. I think he's a billionaire. Kanye's a billionaire, isn't he? That's what I thought. I don't know. Could be, could not be. But, let's talk about the Biden crap show tonight. That's really going to happen. He's going to be saying folks and, telling you this story. And I remember when my son was, you remember when your son Hunter was just brushed under the rug with all the nefarious goings on in the Ukraine? Come on. Everybody I knew when I was in the military who used cocaine was discharged dishonorably. How does Hunter Biden get discharged for cocaine use and get an other than honorable? That's just some crazy shit. Because you know something? I know a lot of people in my life, walks of life from everywhere. I know felons, I know rich people, I know whoever. All good people. People I know who are felons, they make it, they have made it, and they've done well for themselves. So I know that's not holding anybody back who is actually a decent human being and made a mistake. A dishonorable discharge is worse than being a felon. It definitely is. Definitely is worse than being a felon. You can't hack it in the military. Well, most people can't hack it in the military, but, whatever. But I would like to reach out to some people out there. If you want to do your own podcast, hit me up on social media. I could probably do it right from your home, wherever you're at in the world. And it could be really cool. Well, this is my second episode of the Dissident Chronicles. I hope it got out there somewhere. And I hope that you will all be having a wonderful Thursday. And let's look forward to Friday. I want some new guests to come in here. A guy from the well named AP I want to come in and talk with. Want to get Stephanie, the accountant, in to talk with. And I am going to have a guest who is the ADHD gardener. Look her up on social media. You can find her on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. The ADHD gardener. Well, this is James Dakota. I'll talk to you folks tomorrow. Let's hope we all have a wonderful night, and you all have a good night's sleep. Thank you, folks. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next episode.